Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I've got a really awesome battle that I just had on BattleSpot earlier. Unfortunately, I wasn't live recording the battle, and I was just trying to get some practice in with a bunch of Pokemon I wanted to try out before regionals, but I managed to save the video because this game was so good. Now, the thing with saving battles is you don't get to see team preview, which unfortunately is a big part of VGC, but you see both my four Pokemon and my opponent's 4 Pokemon, and interestingly enough, we both had Garchomp and Gardevoir on our teams, and neither of us ended up bringing it, so I ended up with Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, Kangaskhan, Talonflame. My opponent went with Talonflame, Aegislash, Klotzer, and Kangaskhan. So without spoiling anymore, let's get right into the battle. Going into this game, I know that my opponent's Kangaskhan is going to be a big threat, and I know Ferrothorn can be a really big help to my team as long as I'm aware that my opponent's Talonflame is I just need to KO my opponent's Talonflame, basically. So I'm going to go with my Rotom Wash and my Ferrothorn, and my opponent's going to lead with Kangaskhan and Klotzer. This is a really good lead matchup for me because Rotom Wash and Ferrothorn both have the super effective hits onto Klotzer, and Kangaskhan's obviously going to Mega Evolve, and I basically want to KO it right away, so I go for the Gyro Ball Will-O-Wisp onto it. Now Kangaskhan fakes out my Rotom Wash, which I'm perfectly okay with, but I'm not running a Citrus Berry Rotom Wash this time around. I'm actually running a Chesto Rest Set, so I know that I'm in return KO range. Klotzer actually goes for the Aura Sphere. It's a move that I actually forgot it completely got, so that brings my Ferrothorn down to under half, which is a pretty rare occurrence, especially from a special attacking Pokemon, but it does a hefty amount, but I am able to bring that Kangaskhan down to 30%. This turn I know I have to conserve my Ferrothorn, so I actually switch it out into Talonflame. I don't expect my opponent to really predict this, even though it is a pretty obvious switch. The KO on Ferrothorn is huge, and a lot of times, players like to play a bit more aggressively and get that KO. Rotom Wash faints here to that return, as I previously mentioned, because I'm not running Citrus Berry, but I actually set this up to... The turn ended up being how I wanted it to set up. So I wanted Rotom Wash to faint so I could bring in Kangaskhan safely, and the reason for this is now I have a full HP Kangaskhan which can Mega Evolve and Fake Out, and Talonflame threatens with the priority Brave Bird. So here I know that I have the momentum going onto my side, which is a big part in VGC. It's often worth losing a Pokemon if you get the momentum and team advantage on your end. I go for the Fake Out here onto Klotzer. I nearly actually Power Up Punched myself, but I anticipated Klotzer most likely didn't have Protect since Assault Vest is actually the most common item onto it. I do go for just the Brave Bird onto Kangaskhan, not expecting it to switch out, and as accordingly, I do pick up the knockout here. So that was a great turn for me here, as I knock out my opponent's Mega Pokemon, and I get my full HP Mega Kangaskhan in safely, as Talonflame still has over 50% HP. So my opponent's going to send in his own Talonflame, and I know that I'm Jolly and max speed, so I have at least a 50% chance, if not a 100% chance, to KO this Talonflame right away, but I do double target it with Brave Bird in return. Fortunately, it does not outspeed me, so I either won the speed tie or I'm just naturally faster, and I do pick up the KO there, which is great. Kangaskhan goes for the return onto Klotzer, but Klotzer is really bulky, so it actually hangs on with the sliver of health, and here it's going to go for an Aura Sphere, which is always bad, but because Kangaskhan's so naturally bulky, I'm actually going to take that relatively well, for a super effective hit at least, and hang out with 65 HP. So my opponent switches in Aegislash here, and I know since I'm choice banded, Talonflame's not going to be able to do much, so I want to switch it out back into Ferrothorn, especially because I have a good turn here. Kangaskhan just goes for the Power Up Punch, trying to pick up the KO onto Klotzer, which it does. So now I do have a +1 Kangaskhan, but I'm in some trouble, even with 3 Pokemon against the Aegislash. If there's any Pokemon in VGC 2014 that can completely bring a match around, I think it's Aegislash, because it gets Substitute, Leftovers, and King Shield, which is the exact set my opponent is running here. And now with Substitute, Sucker Punch is a super effective hit, even at +1, but of course, the one that ends up actually doing damage is the second hit, which was only 50% of the first Kangaskhan hit. So I'm going to Sucker Punch here to break the Substitute, because Aegislash obviously has to attack this turn. And I don't even bring it down to under 50% HP, which is slightly alarming. Aegislash is going to stance change here, and it's just going to go for a Flash Cannon onto my Kangaskhan. Not bad, but slightly concerning as well. Here, I actually make a play that I think I shouldn't have. I go for the Leech Seed instead of just trying to get some damage off with Gyro Ball. However, in the late game, you kind of always want to Leech Seed with Ferrothorn, just because Leech Seed basically wins you games when it's 1-on-1 or even 2-on-1. And I know Aegislash can't one-hit KO me with against Ferrothorn, so I know if I'm healing back a bit every turn, first of all, I'm doing more damage, even with that Leftovers recovery, I'm slowly whittling its HP down, and I know I'm healing back myself. So I'm going to bring in Talonflame here, and the King Shield is very obvious here, and I don't want my opponent to say get 2 King Shields off in a row, so I actually go for different play instead of just attacking into it. First of all, I'm going to Will-O-Wisp with my Talonflame. I am running a Choice Band set, so Will-O-Wisp is my 4th move. Knowing that Will-O-Wisp does go through King's Shield, because, you know, King's Shield only blocks attacking moves. And I actually Leech Seed my own Talonflame. The reason for this is, so Talonflame is basically useless at this point, right? Because I am Choice Banded, so locking myself into Will-O-Wisp means I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. However, by Leech Seeding myself, it means I'm going to heal back from both my Talonflame and my opponent's Aegis Slash. And this basically ensures me the victory, because now Ferrothorn's able to take another Shadow Ball from that Aegis Slash, and I'm in the range where protecting and taking an attack is perfectly fine, as I will be able to win the game regardless. Ferrothorn's going to go for the obvious protect here. Talonflame going to Will-O-Wisp into the Aegis Slash, as Aegis Slash is going to stance change, but obviously it needs to knock out the Ferrothorn at this point, and no matter, since I did go for a protect here, that's basically going to seal the game up, as Aegis Slash is going to heal a bit more from that leftovers, but I'm going to get myself basically all the way up to full HP from Leech Seeds from both my Talonflame and my opponent's Aegis Slash, as you see here. And at this point, the game is over, because even if Shadow Ball critical hits my Ferrothorn, the game is still won. So in the end, I think I ended up, the play wasn't exactly necessary. It's actually kind of risky, because it needed me to hit that Will-O-Wisp and Leech Seed, but at the same time, I saw the opening for a play. I didn't want to risk getting King Shielded. King Shield can cause a lot of trouble, and, you know, if I ended up being at -4 and I didn't get Leech Seed myself and I ended up fainting, you know, my opponent might have ended up being able to pull out with the victory, but I just went for that play in the end because I felt like it gave me the best chance of winning, and to me, it made the most sense. And even if I didn't get, you know, hit one of the 2 attacks, I think I still would have been fine off. But in the end, the combination of both just overwhelmed my opponent completely and made sure that Ferrothorn ended up sealing the game for me. So that's it for today's battle, guys. I'll probably do another couple of uploads, because I actually had a bunch of cool games while I was on BattleSpot recently. So I'll just do some post-battle commentary for you guys. Anyway, rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Like always, 300 likes is, you know, the benchmark that I like to hit. And I'll see you next time. Peace.